Bernie Sanders is making a major push for Internet for All. That plan aims to expand broadband internet access nationwide and dismantle what he calls internet and cable monopolies.
Sanders isn't the first candidate to propose expanding access. Elizabeth Warren, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, they've introduced proposals as well. So here to expand on the plans and more is Tim Black. He's host of The Tim Black Show. Tim, it's great to see you.
Thanks for having me back, guys. I appreciate it.
Always.
Of course. Tim, you've looked a little bit this into extensively. Tell us about the differences in the types of plans, the importance of rural broadband generally. It's an issue not a lot of people know that much about, but it's very important to the lives of many Americans.
It's a very popular talking point, very popular policy to enact this because there are a lot of rural locations where people's broadband, you won't believe, they're basically on dial-up speeds.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is
my life. I'm living that life.
Oh, really? Really? I feel so bad for you.
Yeah.
It's bad. But yeah, and so Bernie's plan is the most comprehensive. Like, he had these plans that are great. Him and Elizabeth Warren get compared often. Bernie's plan, though, goes twice as far as Elizabeth Warren's plan. His projection is $150 billion being spent on broadband. Elizabeth Warren, $85 billion, which is nothing to sneeze at, but in this case, size is better. Bigger size is better. But Pete Buttigieg, I didn't look into what his plan basically contains, but I know that it's like $75 billion is where he was.
So beyond the money, though, what does it do? What is it that they're trying to enact?
Well, some of it is the electrical grid itself, which is what we talked about earlier offline. I mean, if you don't have electricity, you can't have internet. That's sort of how that works. It's not magic. So upgrading the infrastructure. Tulsi Gabbard, for instance, has an infrastructure plan. She doesn't really have a broadband plan, but we're going to try to increase the number and lower the amount of outages that you have in inclement weather, things of that nature. It affects hospitals. It's not just it's not just Roblox, guys. It's everything. It's the ability to work from home. It's the ability to stream services, Netflix, whatever, what have you. So universities, if people are studying abroad or studying from home, which is a very popular aspect. So Bernie's plan, as I stated, is the most comprehensive that I've seen in the field so far.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who's done a good amount of work with candidates in rural America, I can tell you this is an issue that is completely undersold by the media. I mean, this is like super important, not only in people's lives, but to business opportunities in a region. If you don't have good cell coverage, if you don't have good broadband, what business is going to locate in those places? So it truly is essential, and something that, you know, while the media doesn't cover it much, ordinary voters have a deep appreciation for and understanding of. This is vital to their sort of everyday life.
Absolutely. You talk about people starting home businesses. I mean, they talk about the unemployment rate is going down and now people are starting business, but kind of hard to start a business if you don't have an internet connection. This is 2019. So you need a storefront, you need an internet access, you need to have the ability to have visitors go to your website, and that's all going to be encompassed in these plans that they're rolling out. I think it's an easy way to be less divisive. I mean, this is a plan everybody can get behind. Who doesn't want better, faster internet access?
Well, it's interesting, too, because he talks about cable monopolies in here. Can you tell us a little bit about that, about the cable companies in particular and how he would be taking them on, and Elizabeth Warren as well? Yeah,
well, right now what happens is, depending on where you live, you usually only have one provider. It's not really a lot of market impact there, like not a lot of market options for you. So they want to expand to have some, I know in the D.C. area, for instance, they have a government-based internet access. And I'm thinking, based on what I was reading, that's what we want to go to, having more of municipality access to also compete against the telecom companies, because they do things like throttling. They slow down access speeds to certain websites, point you to their own websites, so net neutrality becomes an issue. There is a lot in this plan to unpack. But
zooming out a bit, I think part of the appeal of Sanders is that he makes things simple. So it's Medicare for all, it's college for all, it's internet for all, it's jobs for all. It's all, you know, universal, and it's framed in terms of economic rights rather than, oh, if your income is $100,000, we're going to phase out to $150,000, and then we're going to do a tax credit, which is hard to wrap your head around, and doesn't have the universal buy-in of these programs where it's just, no matter what your income is, you don't have to go and prove your poverty to the government. You, as a citizen of this country, can avail yourself of these services.
Excellent point. It's a public good, just like water, just like public schools, to step into the new age. There are some countries, I think it's Japan, where where when you move into the apartment, you already got internet access. I mean, we're behind. Like we're not winning at this. I mean, what we're winning at in the United States: obesity, war,
healthcare costs. We do really well on that.
Guns, infant mortality.
Yeah.
We need to win at some things, and one of those things can be broadband and internet access.
Well said. All right, Tim. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Great to see you.
We'll have more Rising for you right after this.